amazing. They look like you should be able to find them in a lot of the bigger, more expensive department stores.
I love this shrug. This shrug is by far my favorite accessory with this clothing line. This shrug allows me to wear it short and sexy or long and a little bit more flirty and flowy. So the transformation just happens just very uniquely by flipping the garment upside down. So if I remove my arms, flip the garment upside down, losing that scarf and collared effect, but again, taking that scarf and transforming it to the lower half, making it long and sleek. Super simple.
The Beanery Depot and Deli. Coffee, made-to-order subs, snacks, and more. Meatball sandwiches, fresh and hot. Pepperoni rolls, fish sandwiches, chicken, milkshakes. The Beanery Deli. When you're hungry for something special, and it won't cost you a lot of beans. Join and save at Sam's Club, your local club, Boardman, 6361 South Avenue, Boardman, Ohio. It's Sam's Club. Join and save.
Hi friends, I'm Gary West, and whether you find Augustine's Pizza at your local grocery store or at their restaurant in Newcastle, the folks at Augustine's Pizza hope that their pizza is always your first choice for any and all occasions.
What's inside? Come on in and take a look at the menu. There's many barbecue delights, ribs, chicken, and much more. Salads of every kind, sides that'll tempt your appetite. And we have eat in or take out at Big J's Hurricane Grill. Maureen and Big J say everybody is welcome.
Bill's Bake Shop will make you happy. Bill Cast is the owner, and he and his staff keep the tradition going with all those bakery items that you remember as a kid. Just to name a few items, Bill makes cream sticks, cinnamon rolls, bear claws, cream horns, cannoli, cakes, pies, cookies, bread, pizza, and so much more. Bill's Bake Shop, located at 228 North Liberty Street in the Mahoningtown section of Newcastle, is open Tuesday through Saturday, 7 to 5, and Sunday, 7 to 2, closed on Monday. Bill's, where smiles are everywhere. Call 724-654-4223.
It's winter, so come on inside, sit down, grab a cup of hot cocoa, and watch NCTV45.
The Crane Room for your lunch and dinner rendezvous. You'll enjoy their pleasant atmosphere. The Crane Room takes pride in their wide variety menu. Appetizers, sandwiches, soups, salads, entrees, pasta, and the best burgers in town. Newcastle's best selection of domestic, import, and craft beers from around the world, and the Crane Room features a 35-tap draft system. Ask about their daily specials that will please you every time. The Crane Room is located at 3009 Wilmington Road in Neshannock Township. Call 724-656-1553.
It could be you, it could be me, it could be everything we see. Given the day, given the time, given the moment. It could be you, it could be me, it could be everything we see. Given the day, given the time, given the moment. Some of it comes.
The Globe Leader, your hometown newspaper since 1880. Go to nwglobe.com to read fascinating articles. If you know someone who would enjoy this amazing publication as much as you do, why not give them a gift subscription? I am excited about getting this into the homes of as many people as possible. Please send their email address and we'll do the rest. Call 8098. That's the Globe Leader, your hometown newspaper since 1880. All in a nutshell, 102 and 117 North Mercer Street in Newcastle. Visit Keith and Margot Jackson for that new look. The latest in women's and men's clothing. Treat yourself today. You'll be glad you did. Joshua Sun Rehabilitation Center. From the moment you arrive, you know that you're in the right place. Dr. John Wrightson listens first. He pays attention to detail and then makes the determination. Joshua Sun Rehabilitation. We make the pain go away. Tuscany Square Restaurant, 3470 Wilmington Road, where old world charm meets the modern conveniences of today. Spacious seating and amenities await. Fresh ingredients that make that just right pizza or entree. It's Tuscany Square for your next event. Stop and see us or give us a call at 724-654-0365. The Land of Oz, located next to Subway on Washington Street, features unique clothing for that special design, one of a kind. Also accessories of every sort. Team logo and school logo. Also jeans, tops. For that special look, it's the Land of Oz, located in downtown Newcastle next to Subway.
Welcome to NCTV45. This is Focus NC. I am the guest moderator, Matthew Geiger, from the Washington Outsider. Today we're here to have a conversation on revitalizing Newcastle downtown. With me is Barbara Grossman, who will be presenting an idea called a marketplace lifestyle. To my left, we have Larry Corvi from New Visions, and he will discuss his organization. Barbara, if you'd like to begin.
Newcastle needs a revitalization. It's been caught up in the grip of death, darkness, and chaos. We need to bring life back. We need to hearken to caring about our community. We need to establish unity. And in order to do that, we have to pull forth from our hearts to literally care about one another and the life that is living here. The greatest thing about success is the way to succeed is to submit. And when we submit to something and we acknowledge it and we accept it, we conquer that. And the thing that we need to conquer is the oppression that this town has been under since the 1970s and 80s. It kind of took its grip on us then, and it never really has let go. And it's time that we come together to take ourselves out of that grip and bring life and light and peace, joy, happiness. And the way to do that is to have livelihood and fruitful living is to literally come together as a community. And so what we're going to present here today is a concept of a public market square, which I have called Pearlby Market. And obviously to associate it, it would eventually be termed Newcastle's Pearlby Market, a public market square. And what this is it's an old idea. It's nothing new, you know. But it's proven to work time and time again. When we bring a hub to downtown and we use a town center for what its true purpose is, life thrives. The entire community benefits, and every resident, every family benefits. It doesn't matter from what economic position you're coming from. Everyone benefits. So this is a concept where we want to bring back honest work, prosperous living, and fill this town up. So with me today is Larry Corvi, and he's from New Visions. I have the concept in the heart, the market square is really a means to an end. My heart is about the people, the residents here. I want to use my voice to advocate and speak out for them and say no one here is bad. I get really tired of hearing this whole thing. It's finger pointing and it's blaming, saying, this person's bad or wrong and this person's right and good. I want to set that down and eliminate that and say, we're all here together and this is all of our town, and I want to get off the playground and I want to make a home. And these people, it's a concept that I hear often coming out of people's mouths are, oh, they're so bad. Whether they're speaking to a child or someone else, it's not bad. We're not bad. This isn't a negative situation. This is a beautiful town with tremendous potential and possibility. And I want to be a voice to uplift that and bring hope. What we need is education. What we need is encouragement. What we need is to care about one another. We need to take our minds and our hearts off of greed for the dollar bill and realize that's a concept that we made it up. We created it and we could destroy it. We need to turn our minds to what is real, and that's life. And we need to bring self-esteem, not just back to the residents, but to the entire town itself. We need to hold hands with one another. To have unity, we need to accept and acknowledge the diversity. Newcastle has a tremendous diversity of culture and religion. Politically, we need politics. We have to have governing. But I feel we have to come back into proper structure. We have been operating on improper structure. And we need to come together. We need one another. So that's my true mission, is unity. The market square is a means to an end because we have to work. And when we work interdependently, working together, it just comes together. And so I want to introduce the concept of an age-old idea of a public market square to bring back revitalization. And the market square, what I would like to see is not a set up, tear down, not a flea market, but literally to put businesses back into the storefronts that are already here, utilizing what we have, taking advantage of it and using it to the betterment for all. And we have a lot of people in our community that are able to do that. I want to offer the alternative for those who have been living off relief funds for years, decades. This town has been in that grip. And, there's a lot of skill out there. We have people that are able to do things that I don't even know if they remember that they know how to do. And so I want to be able to present this idea and encourage people out there to say, this is your town, and come join us. And so the craftsmen and artisans that we have in the area, pulling them together. And my vision for Pearl Bean Market as a public market square is to not just open up a storefront, not just to sell things, but literally to bring the livelihood, the productivity, and as many as are willing to participate in this, to as well make or craft whatever it is that you do on site. People love to watch things being made. That's an activity, that is an event in itself going on every day. If you like to go in and see books being made or shoes being resold, a lot of people just enjoy that, to see that. And so as much of it out there as possible for those willing participants to craft on site, that opens up job opportunities for people to run their counters and to help maintain that production, as well as many as are willing to participate in offering how-to. How are you doing that? Are you willing to share your knowledge and teach somebody that? These are all things that on a daily basis, Monday through Friday, let's open the town up to running like a home and really considering one another and bringing this back. I mean, when we come into these things, it's not just about artists and musicians, it's about life. And we need to have that come back. And so with me today is Larry Corvi, who I have the concepts, Larry has connections. And so letting him speak on that and how his connections might be able to help bridge this concept and make it a reality. And Matt here to monitor between us and to, while I have the emotional and intellectual aspect, Matt is able to bring in the political and business end. So with that being said, I'd like to move the table over to the gentleman.
Larry, if you'd please introduce what New Visions is and your mission.
Yes, Matt, and thanks for the intro, and Barbara, thanks for the kind comments. Yeah, New Visions is a grassroots volunteer group. We call ourselves a revitalization movement. We've been around for about 4 years. Our 4th anniversary is coming up, and our mission is to improve the quality of life in Lawrence County in order to make Lawrence County a more attractive place to live. And with the end result being that we turn around our population loss, and that we do that by addressing some of the critical issues facing Lawrence County. Again, some of the problems we're addressing have been around for decades, but our new group, even though we're kind of the new kids on a block, we do feel like there's been some movement in recent months and over the last few years maybe in turning things around and being more positive. How do you turn around Lawrence County so that we can grow? Well, New Vision said you start with the city of Newcastle. It makes the most sense. It's the largest city in the county. It's, if you will, it is the seat of county government, and it still has a lot of roots that are very, very deep as far as Lawrence County goes. So we have started in Newcastle, and then we said, Newcastle itself is a town of 23,000. That's still a pretty big task. Where can we start in Newcastle? Well, we've said let's focus on downtown. So we're starting in the downtown area, and the idea is to improve downtown, help revitalize downtown. Revitalized downtowns have turned around many communities. Pittsburgh is a good example. Even Youngstown to our west is having some success in revitalizing their community by revitalizing their downtown. So there are a lot of success stories about downtowns helping to bring back communities. People are attracted to nice downtowns, quaint downtowns that work. So that's what we're focusing on right now. And we've got 3 of our action teams, our communications team, our clean and green team, and our destination downtown team, all focusing on the downtown area. And our biggest efforts downtown have been to increase the foot traffic downtown, and we've been really focusing very heavily on that. We do that by working with the merchants, first of all. We're working with them on developing events that would bring people downtown. In December, we had a very successful event led by one of our volunteers. It was called the Progressive Tour of Downtown. We had over 75 people turn out downtown. Some of the other things we've done earlier this year, for instance, was moving the fireworks or helping move the fireworks festival off the Inner East Washington Street. That was led by one of our volunteers. That proved to be very successful for downtown merchants. So those are the type of things we've been working on in the downtown area. Barbara approached us about this idea, this public market square idea at our communications task force meeting, probably maybe a month or so ago. She presented the idea there. It was very well received. So New Visions is exploring, I would say, a number of ways that, or a number of means for helping turn around downtown. This one is a very attractive one to take, a real good, hard look at for a number of reasons. First of all, I would say that the idea of a marketplace where people can show off their crafts, if you will, or craftsmanship, is a good tie to Newcastle, because Newcastle goes back to the days when there were many craftsmen in the area, craftspeople in the area. So there's deep roots along those lines. Secondly, I'm hearing that there might be some arts involved in the arts and crafts. Again, I think Newcastle has a great history in that area. Making steel is a craft. A lot of the things that went on in the steel mills involved crafts and trades. Making fireworks is a craft. And we're fortunate enough that we still have the fireworks manufacturers in our area. So again, that is a great fit. And then 2, the idea of locating is in the downtown area makes a lot of sense. First of all, there's a lot of space available, and it would help fill up those storefronts. And then secondly, I think it would complement what we're trying to do, and that is to increase the number of people that are coming to downtown Newcastle. I would think that folks would be attracted to this type of public market square that we're hearing about from Barbara. I think it's a great concept, and we're very interested in learning more about it and how we could possibly help. And in that area, I'll stop and let Matt go from there. But go ahead, Matt.
And so, Barbara, to me, this when you approach an issue like a marketplace concept and revitalizing the whole the downtown of a area in general, really plays to what kind of barriers are getting in the way. What is to getting people, businesses, or well, first of all, customers, because a business doesn't exist without a customer.
Right.
Why are businesses going elsewhere? Why are customers going elsewhere? And also, what kind of barriers, whether they be economic, or just psychological, are there reasons people aren't coming downtown? And how do we overcome that? If your market concepts to work, how do we get viable businesses that can get enough income in here to survive? And then how can they get their customers down here? What are some barriers that you see?
Some barriers that I see. Honestly, Matt, I think that we're dealing with a lot of ignorance.
Okay.
Let me just go ahead and speak from my heart. I am from Lawrence County.
Okay.
I have been a lifelong resident of Lawrence County in the country.
Okay.
Okay. I have rural experience, and there is a definite difference in how rural people live than how city people live,
Okay.
and how we treat one another and work interdependently with one another. I moved into the downtown area 3 years ago.
Okay.
Okay. And I have to say, when I initially came, I love honesty. I think the only way that we can get anywhere is to be honest. It is the only way that I have ever gotten anywhere. And honestly, I hated it here. My initial thing was, get me out of here. I want nothing to do with this place. These people are rude. What is going on? There's so much segregation. The oppression is ridiculous. This town is making its living off of sick, poor people.
Wait,
This is ridiculous.
What do you mean by oppression exactly?
Oppression.
Is it an atmosphere?
It's an atmosphere. It's heavy. It's dark. Depressing.
Okay. So it's
Depressing. So I began to look at the whole thing and getting out. And then I stopped. And I said, you know what? Nothing's working. Every time I tried to leave, something brought me back. And so I had to set my own frustration down and say, okay, this is my home.
okay.
This is my home. So I'm the type of woman that I like a happy home. I'm very family oriented. I love my children. A peaceful home to me is not something quiet. It's a child banging on the piano. It's, hey, Mom, look what I did. It's activity. It's bustling. But it's also working together. My home couldn't work if I did all the work. Neighbors, who do you know? There's cliques, so much cliques and so much groups. Honestly, I looked at the entire thing and I said, am I on the elementary school playground? What is going on here? There was no sense of security. I did not feel like I could go to anybody or lean on anything. It felt like it was up in the air.
It sounds like you see a lack of community seeming to be a real driver of Newcastle's issues.
People have things going on in groups.
Okay.
And within those groups are well structured
Okay.
and well organized.
Okay.
But they stay within their group and they
Okay.
stay within their walls. that's not a community.
So even though there might not be physical walls in Newcastle,
There are
there's
spiritual walls.
division.
There are invisible walls, and we need to come together.
Yeah. So
We really need to come together as a whole, because it's about everybody, not just some people.
So you really feel that economically the city's suffering because there isn't a sense of community, a need to support.
I think there's
Businesses
a
and each
tremendous
other.
amount of people that are walking around downtown. They're angry, they're scared, they're hurt, they're lost.
Yeah.
They have low self-esteem. There are a lot of programs
Yeah.
in the area. There's a lot of talk going on. I'm a woman of action. You know, if we're going to talk about something, let's talk about it only to the point that we need to understand what it is that we're doing, and then let's do that. I think we need to embrace one another. I think that we need to bring back the reality of life, and life is about living life. On a personal note, you know, I feel what is happening not only in our town, but in the country at large. And that's a lack of reliancy upon the Holy Father. We need to bring this back. Not that we need to come into a religion thing. I am not a religious woman. I have a relationship. And there's a difference. And when we have relationship and we understand what relationship means, then we come into proper understanding of what proper governing is. And things begin to come together with a structure, and that order just happens. And when you're loving somebody and you having compassion and empathy, then you start to put your arms around each other and care.
Okay, so this going back to the marketplace, and we're not necessarily talking to people who, you know, not everyone's religious, like you said, not even everyone's spiritual.
You don't even have to be a believer
you
to
know,
love
so
someone.
this marketplace isn't just like a religious area. It's for something, and
for all
how,
people.
you know, and so your idea of a marketplace is to bring in vendors that'll kind of create a community.
Yes, Matt. Something that I saw once I got past the negative and said, I don't like it here, I said, you know what, this is my home, so let me go check it out.
Yeah.
Now that we've discussed the negative, let's look at the positive. This is a beautiful town. The diversity here of culture, it's tremendous. On one hand, I see this place as very peaceful.
Yeah.
I mean, when we talk about the different political views and we talk about the different religious views, we have people living here actually in harmony.
Yeah.
So if we can come together and stretch that harmony out and begin to enjoy one another, instead of having to change one another, you know, this market has the potential to bring a diverse culture together and stand on what America itself was founded on. And that, you know, we became known as the melting pot. Newcastle, Pennsylvania has the potential to example a harmonious, balanced melting pot of acknowledging one another, accepting one another, not trying to change one another, embracing one another, and learning from each other, and enjoying what we have as far as, you know, foods and arts and music and dance, and it would be beautiful. You know, somebody could come here and be able to travel the world.
So Barbara, when you this marketplace, so what kind of businesses do you see taking advantage of this space you'd be providing from that can actually help with building this sense of community?
On that topic, Matt, is where I'm hoping that you will share with us your thoughts on that.
Well, let's start with kind of Larry. He's someone. He's really your New Vision organization. It's really seems to be about community building. The exact thing Barbara sees as being a deficit, and I don't know if you would agree with me but it seems like I'm actually from originally Crawford County, and I'm out in the middle of nowhere. It's actually a little bigger than Lawrence County, and we had a sense of Meadville. If you were from the county, Meadville was the place you went shopping, and it was always the place everyone went to. So you went there, but it was going to town, and people in Meadville kind of felt like this was their town, but there was a disconnect. There wasn't this it wasn't Crawford County's community. It was, there's the people from the county, there's people from Meadville, and then inside there was a lack of, there were people who knew each other, families, and there was more affluent ones, people with some money, people, businesses, better paid people for manufacturing, and it seems like that is really duplicated in Lawrence County too. There's the county, there's maybe there's new downtown Castle. I've also I've spent a lot of time with people out in who come from Neshannock, and it seems not everyone's affluent out there too. They have a pretty diverse income brackets too, but there's a lot more upper, middle to upper middle class individuals, more professionals, who maybe don't feel like they belong to Newcastle. Like, there isn't one Lawrence County community, there isn't a Newcastle community. There's Newcastle inner city. There's Neshannock, and then there's Lawrence County. There's not one unity community, and it seems like your organization is kind of trying to change that dynamic, is trying to create a new community, and this marketplace idea is part of that.
Yeah, without a doubt, Matt. Well, first of all, the form of government that Pennsylvania has does lead to a lot of parochialism.
Yeah.
For instance, we have the county as the big umbrella. Then under the county, you have the townships.
Yeah.
And the townships actually are like kind of cities themselves. They're very self-controlling. They have county supervisors, which have a lot of power and influence and can establish laws, etc. And then, of course, you have the municipalities.
Yeah.
Like the city of Newcastle, New Wilmington Borough, Elwood City. And there's all kind of layers of government which do kind of fractalize where people live and where their allegiance is to.
Yeah.
However, having said that, it's not overwhelming to try to bring everyone together and say that, hey, we all live in Lawrence County, we all work in Lawrence County, we all play in Lawrence County. Why can't we work closer together? We're not going to be able to change those forms of government, but if we can get the county, the townships, the municipalities to start working together with one shared vision for the entire region, and not just my particular part of the region. And I guess when I'm talking about the region, I'm talking about the county. That would be a huge accomplishment. Again, New Visions is right now we're just focusing on downtown Newcastle and Newcastle itself. But our goal would be to try to bring all these players together eventually.
Okay.
And not too far down the road. Some of the New Visions group, we have a lot of gray hair. We don't want to make this a 30-year project. It might have taken 30 years to get to this point, but we want to speed things up.
You want.
And there are a lot of examples around, so we don't have to go out and reinvent the wheel. There are a lot of communities that have pulled together. So, New Visions is focusing on downtown, and we're trying to serve as a catalyst here. Okay. But we do plan on trying to start to work out from around Newcastle and to those other, if you will, government entities and get everybody on the same page. Right now, you have the county, which has their own plan, which is good. The county needs a strategic plan. Then you have the townships, which have their strategic plan. And then you have the cities, which have their strategic. Now, it's good that everybody has their strategic plan, but has everybody ever gotten in the room and gotten everybody together and say, okay, we're all going to have our plans, but what is the ultimate goal for this county as a whole? And could we unite everybody and point them all in the same directions and get everybody on the same page? That, I think, would help move us forward faster. When you have everybody pulling in different directions, people have good intentions, and I'm not being overly critical of them. It's harder to get to where you're trying to go. Yeah. But if you have everybody going in the same direction, we'd get there a lot faster. So that's kind of what our vision would be eventually. And hopefully it's not too far down the road. One of the things we have done is try to bring the different people that I mentioned, or different folks that I mentioned, on board with us as far as our board of directors. And we do have a lot of those folks starting to work with us. So we are trying to build collaboration. Yeah. And again, we are not saying we have the answers. Yeah. But we're saying if we all work together, we could find the answers to the critical issues facing us.
So, basically, you're a non-governmental organization.
Correct.
You're a social organization, a group of private citizens?
Yeah, I would say we call ourselves a grassroots
Okay, yeah.
movement.
Okay.
And we've got folks who are just, average people, average Joes involved. We've got blue collar, we have white collar. We do have some politicians involved, which, and again, it's good that we have it because we need them all on board. Yeah, so, we have a very eclectic group of folks that we're working with.
Make it Lanigan's Irish Pub, where you'll be amazed with the weekly specials. Pub grub, salads, burgers, sandwiches, Irish specialties, and desserts. Lanigan's has a full bar featuring domestic, craft, and Irish draft beer. You can also book a party at Lanigan's at 126 East Washington Street in downtown Newcastle. As they say at Lanigan's Irish Pub, the best Irish food since Ireland. Call 724-657-3444. It's Little Johnny's Pizza 2 in downtown Newcastle with a great variety menu that you will tell everybody about. Chris Quiera, the owner, is here with more information.
Stop down and see us at Little Johnny's 2. We're located at 130 East Washington Street, or give us a call at 724-657-2210.
Let's talk with Norm.
We're with Norm Lutton. Norm, you're the owner of Crazy Car Restoration. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it's a new company we're opening up. Originally, we was Lutton Auto Repair, and we're adding on a little bit. And we're trying to bring out some custom cars for people somewhere in between the $5,000 and $20,000 range, what people can actually afford today. Anymore, all these cars are so expensive. We're just trying to make ends meet for other people.
That sounds great now.
But I've been fixing cars for over 35 years.
That's great.
So when you have a repair, big or small, call Norm.
The thing that defines who we're working with is the vision and the passion. If people share the vision and the passion that we have for moving things forward, it doesn't matter.
So you want to you're kind of trying to bring parties together that are involved, that are needed to revitalize government, instead of government doing its thing and different levels of government doing their own thing and business guys trying to struggle. You're trying to create kind of a coordination between.
Right, and what I would add, Matt, is, the problems that face communities today are not solvable just by having government figure out how to do it. The problems have grown more complex.
Yes.
And we think a better way to address those is, yes, you have to have government, but could we bring a few more people to the table who might have ideas, who might have concept, who might have time to help government address those critical. And we've told everybody that we work with, the city of Newcastle, the county, use us, use our volunteers, because we realize government is limited in what they can do today with resources, and resources being money, and resources being people. But if we have a few hundred people that could roll up their sleeve, right. And actually, there's a concept that we are practicing, but we didn't know we were practicing it. It's called collective impact.
Okay.
And collective impact, we found, is something that we're doing, and what it involves is just what I just described. You don't have a small group with linear focus, say, addressing economic development.
Okay.
You bring a few more people to the table, a combination of maybe government people, citizens, private individuals, and make the table a little wider so you have a better, if you will, group focusing on the problem. And again, it's proven that it works. There's been a study on collective impact done by Stanford University, and they list a number of examples where that, if you follow that model for solving problems, you are quicker at finding a solution, and the solution is usually better. For instance, and they gave an example, New York State was trying to deal with juveniles going through the justice system and how they could improve that. Well, again, they weren't making a lot of progress. They broadened the table. They brought more people to the table. They're seeing better results with their program to reduce juvenile crime, and also to not only reduce it, but to help those offenders who are spending time behind bars where they needed to be. But again, it's proven that they're having some great success there. And in the same paper, the same white paper documents other places around the United States that have practiced this. We didn't know it, but we're doing it.
So it really does seem, so there's definitely, it's not just oh, we have a pie in the sky, but we're seeing success elsewhere, and so you're trying to really duplicate a lot and just make it fit for Newcastle, make things work in Newcastle and Lawrence County.
Yeah, again, Newcastle first, and eventually the county. But you got to
Spread
get
out from.
You have to get Newcastle going. And very briefly, there was a 2005 strategic plan that the city of Newcastle did. It was put together by an outside consulting group, and in that plan, again, these are people who make a living at doing this and advising community. They said if you want to turn around Lawrence County, you have to turn around Newcastle. And we agree.
Well, it makes sense. You know, we talked earlier about Barbara and I on a little pre-conversation about a concept called sprawl, where you have businesses and communities where they get bigger and their services kind of go out with the people, and so you end up having to drive around a lot instead of having one place where you can go to get everything done. And we've seen that as kind of makes people, not only it wastes, you know, say if you're a low-income individual, it's going to be a big burden in terms of, you know, the gas it takes, the ability to go to these stores, and so you're going to spend more time. And then if you're more, you know, a professional stuff, you know, you get paid a certain amount, a significant amount for your time, and so it's going to cost you in terms of time. And so when you don't have a downtown area where you can just go to multiple stores and get a lot of places, you find other places. You go out to the Walmart complex where you've seen businesses grow up around there, and that's really taken away from where the community lives. And so kind of reversing that sprawl seems to be really the focus of your idea. So let's turn kind of to this back to the marketplace idea, and you know what kind of businesses you would be trying to pull in. And I think we've talked about and seen, you talked about craftsman stuff, you talked about really kind of more art-minded businesses, like photography. You know, like you might talk about photography. You might talk about quilting.
Matt, the idea.
Why don't you just talk about some of the artistic
as
handcrafters?
diverse as the people themselves are. One of the main points that I want to make with the market is that as an alternative to also offer to people, we're floundering in a sense of trust. Okay, so what can we trust? And without getting into it, because today is not the day, but offering the alternative to safe products without harmful chemicals, and it's very popular, and it is rising. The want and the needs for homemade products, from soap, shampoo, toothpaste, medicines, ointments, you know, all these things. People love that. And not only it provides honest work, it provides honest living, and you know, homemade products, you know, A to Z, as well as I personally know a local blacksmith out in Slippery Rock. Now his business is always, you might put your order and he might not even take your order for 3 months.
Wow.
The needs, the wants, it's there. The demand for homemade things is there, from tools to shampoo to clothes to gifts. It is there. We need to meet the demand by bringing in the suppliers.
So you kind of want to concentrate these businesses that are maybe already out in the county into an area so that people have more access to them.
Well, I certainly am not going to tell anybody where and how to operate, but the invitation, the invitation is there. You know, in anywhere, anyone, whether they be in Lawrence County or outside of Lawrence County, if somebody wants to come in and, you know, nest in our home, welcome. You know, bringing this affair to a commitment.
And you talked about with me about as an example in the county already where there is a small number of vendors that do these sort of things out in Villan.
In Volant, yes. To my understanding, I love Volant.
It's a very
Volant,
nice, nice
it's a
shops.
beautiful place, and so similar to that and like that, and putting the invitation out there to the Volant shops. To my understanding, it's a hearsay, but to my understanding, Volant shops, are struggling somewhat with the mall being there, and so the invitation is going out, to Volant. You're invited if you would like to relocate your shop to downtown Newcastle. We welcome you. That invitation goes beyond the Volant shop owners. Anyone, and I want to be able to. I don't know if we're going to get that on the discussion today, but I want to be able to discuss with Larry and those appropriate ways that we can open the buildings, because I know that that's a concern.
Yes.
To people that don't have the means, the financial means to buy a building or to pay a rent. I believe in the situation that we're in, one of the ways to bring back life is we have to let go and we have to give. And that's kind of what I was saying earlier about, in order to conquer this thing, we have to submit. In order to be able to receive something, which is life and productivity, we have to give. And part of that giving way is we have to relax and we have to loosen up on our grip. There are ways that can benefit everybody if greed lets go. We have to let go of the greedy concept of saying, well, what am I going to get out of this? How much money is this going to take? What are you willing to give me? It's a selfishness in the human nature that we all battle. Every single one of us. I know I've battled to my own self in that and come to the places where I can let go of me and open up and say, instead of looking out to say, what am I going to get? What can I give? And we need to do that as a whole, as a town, because when we give, everybody receives. And if we're able to come up with a concept that we're willing as a whole to be agreeable to, say for a year, let's try this for a year, and let's see where we're at in a year. What are we willing to do on a whole, as a community, as a people, both socially, emotionally, and business-wise, to be able to open these doors, to have these people come in so that we can flourish this.
Well, so I'm going to come from the cold-hearted, capitalist, cutthroat capitalist perspective on here. It sounds like Volant, people like that crafts, the art. There's a lot of things people want. It's maybe not necessarily about need so much as or a want need. And there's people go to the Dollar General because they need milk or they need toilet paper or something, and that's the best price there. And they don't need a more expensive. They don't want to spend but they go out to Volant because they want. Then you say, they're having getting customers issue there, and I assume by the mall you mean the Grove City outlets, which is a huge draw, and this is also huge. I've gone there. There's a lot of shops there, and that's kind of the diversity. And because there's so many shops, they have a draw. Newcastle has a lot of people here, and a relatively few businesses, and so what you kind of seems to be transitioning is you have a customer base here. You have out towards Neshannock in the county. You just need more shops that can survive in the area. And from a capitalist perspective, the kind of businesses that have to move into the area have to be able to survive, and they have to be able to service needs. I mean, as it is now, I would say someone from Neshannock come down here in Newcastle, when you look at, they can go to, if they need groceries, they can go to Giant Eagle. If they want a discount, they'll go to Ollie's down that. There's a whole strip there. There's a Save-A-Lot. There's Joseph's Market, which is a smaller shop, and they do seem to they sell a lot of more local, regionally produced things. They're a very good store. They have a lot of more meat products. People seem to go to them for that. But, and then, Giant Eagle, of course, has a pharmacy. Downtown has a very good, the hometown pharmacy. They're actually seem to get the orders done quickly, a little more quickly, and they're a little more helpful with pricing. They're actually quite lower in pricing. But it just seems like there's more convenience. If you're worried about your time, it's just to go up there, or, you want a convenience, you go up to if you want more, you want to spend a little time shopping, you go up to Grove City, and there's, again, the capitalist perspective, there's a lot of money put into those stores, and coming downtown, to try, just to try it for a year is very, there's the financial aspect, and a business primarily needs to bring, and so really, my thought is, it's going to really, it seems like you're setting in place a concept, a way for the city to grow.
Yes.
And the startup of that concept really relies on
Generosity.
can businesses come in, and it seems like there's a lot of viable craftsmen, and it would be a great area because this can be an area where you can get the foot traffic, but it's okay. You can get the foot traffic in this area because there are the customers, but the question is, how can you draw the businesses down, the concentration? Can you, get ones that are come in, and if you can get kind of these businesses you're talking about to come in, this would be great. These artists, these more artistic style individuals. It sounds like you have a nice building, but to really create and that's kind of focused on what people want, and those aren't products. They're not necessarily going to come down every day. Maybe Valant. Maybe you go to Valant like you have someone's birthday, so you want to get a present. You have okay, maybe it's Christmas. Okay, I'll go to Valant and do some shopping. But on a day-to-day basis, maybe you'll go to Walmart, the Walmart complex. Maybe you'll go up to the Giant Eagle complex, something like that for your day-to-day basis. And so, coming down to Newcastle, if you have a special reason, you might do it. It seems like that's really the issue here is how can you make it not just for the wants and the needs. And so when we look at the marketplace, we also have to look at support businesses. And so we were talking, okay, and she wants these craftsmen who would be in this marketplace building at first. You're visualizing maybe one building at first, and then maybe growing.
Yeah.
So you'd be able to come in, and these would be marksmen, and you can watch them craft. Maybe they're doing leather, maybe they're working with metal, welding metal.
Sure.
This and this has been very. It's been very. Larry mentioned different areas where these marketplaces have been successful. One very successful one out in Detroit called, I believe it's called the Rust Belt Marketplace, something of that nature. It's been very successful, and it does offer these very things. It's very strict. It's only open on the weekends, though. And maybe that might be part of its success is that it's limited to when people are in just an explorational mood, when they're not working. And that seems like it would really help. I mean, I think Larry New Visions is supporting this idea because that kind of engagement really builds up that idea of community support, community. But again, we have to talk about how can we we're talking about making downtown a destination. And so my thought on other businesses that might need to come in, you need ones that maybe in Newcastle has some very good industrial large employers that provide some high wage earners who can do a lot of the everyday purchasing down here. But it seems like to support your marketplace idea, you need other businesses to go around, and so maybe some of them we're talking about. I looked at Pennsylvania's become very big for artisan cheese. Maybe if we could get some facilities, and I've also noticed beer and wine. If you've ever talked to these people who are fanatics about craft brews and but they're very passionate. They spend a lot of money. There's a place out called D&D in Hermitage, where they buy all their supplies and they spend a significant amount of money. Well, if you could get those kind of places in Newcastle, that would really help. And then, and I've noticed there's lawyers, there's an architect firm. Eccles, okay. Those sort of things have the professionals who are going to be down here on the day-to-day basis. But then we also have to look at like the marketplace. A lot of the grocery stores in down there aren't. Doesn't seem like there's many places to say go everyday grocery shopping and that. And there used to be Joseph's Market, which is now up on the Upper Highland. And full disclosure, my sister-in-law does work there, but it actually serves as a very good example. Why did Joseph's leave?
Right.
I mean, why did Joseph's leave? And they, like I said, they provide a lot of regional products, and so that can kind of help us understand the barriers. So, and you've worked with. You're working on, bringing DAC to what are some of the barriers that you see?
Well, again, I think some of the barriers, maybe the biggest barrier, is not necessarily a physical barrier; it's a mental barrier.
Okay.
Yeah. So and I think we have to work on changing people's attitudes in general about shopping in downtown Newcastle. Okay. It has a great tradition, a great history. There used to be some great department stores, etc. Most of the people who live out in the townships grew up shopping in downtown Newcastle. They have fond memories of shopping. I would submit to you that their perception of downtown has changed, but it's not with reality. It doesn't match reality. Downtown, I mean, it has its little areas of concern, but downtown is a safe downtown. It is an attractive downtown. There's more downtown than people realize. So I think we have a great marketplace around the downtown area by people who have roots to the downtown. Yeah. And that's why I was saying that there's Newcastle has a lot of deep-seated roots through the county. You talk to most of the people out in the county, they grew up in Newcastle. So I think that's the first thing, Matt, that we have to overcome. The other thing I would say is that how do we get people to shop these stores? I think you were asking, on the economic side, you just be great to open a store, but a store has to make money.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And what I would say is the one idea or one thing that I like about Barb's idea is that in order to bring people in for shopping today, you have to make it a shopping experience. You have to give them an experience that is different. Okay. And make it something that's special, because they could shop online, they could shop at the discount stores, the big box stores, they could shop at Grove City. They have a lot of opportunity. But this idea, what I'm hearing about it, would offer unique products that you couldn't find in a lot of the national chains. And again, we all need the national chains, but people, I think, are looking for unique stores, unique products, something that they can't find in those stores. And these little shops that we're talking about, these little artisan shops, would offer that. The other thing is that, my perspective, the personal service, hopefully, that it would provide. Yeah. Again, sometimes you go into a big box store and you see the employees and they're running away from you when you're looking for help. Yeah. And I would think
I've had that happen.
Yeah, I would think that in these small shops you probably would be dealing with the proprietor, the owner, who might explain to you, how the product works, how they made it, answer questions, etc. Yeah. So that personal relationship. So those couple things right there stand out to me. That's a way to market what we're talking about as being distinctive, and also helping to pay the bills, because you have to attract people to these stores in order for them to survive, because they're just not going to operate down here for the good of their hearts. Yeah. It comes down to everything, follow the money. It all comes down to money. And money is not a bad thing. And following it is because it supports people. And actually, another concept that would come out of this would be jobs. Yes. That's what I'm hearing. And people who could work at these shops, right, Barb? And again, that's a key thing that is holding the community back is good jobs where people can get a decent income so they can support themselves and support their family. Yeah. So
we have a great relationship with Main Street Clothiers and Custom Tailors in downtown Newcastle at 210 East Washington Street. And whenever you watch Focus NC, my wardrobe is furnished by Main Street Clothiers and Custom Tailors.
Whether it's time to fix the furnace, throw the salt, shovel the drive, it's Paul D. Weller Hardware. We have what you need. Whether it's time to get warm, make the macaroni, make the ravioli, make the pizzelles, throw another log on the fire. It's Paul D. Weller Hardware. Hey, let's go sled ride.
It's Butts Flowers when you want a wide variety of flowers for any occasion. They also have a selection of fine gifts and more. Butts Flowers is conveniently located in downtown Newcastle at 120 East Washington Street. Call Butts Flowers at 724-652-7727 or toll free from anywhere, 1-800-443-7726. It's Butts Flowers in downtown Newcastle.
It's 2P's Thrifts and Gifts, 2626 Elwood Road, for the best in giftware and original merchandise. Stop by 2P's Thrifts and Gifts. Check out their many treasures. Gently worn clothing, original items, one of a kind, and also furniture. Something for everyone. Men's clothes, accessories for the house. It's 2P's Thrifts and Gifts, 2626 Elwood Road. Stop by. There's a treasure waiting for you.
Whether it's a scheduled appointment or same-day service, DiCaprio Carpet Cleaning offers 24/7 service for commercial, industrial, and residential, as well as fire and water damage restoration. Using state-of-the-art technology, DiCaprio Carpet Cleaning experts are ready to professionally clean your carpet today. Call DiCaprio Carpet Cleaning for a free in-home estimate. Thank you for making us Lawrence and Mercer County's largest carpet cleaner.
And remember, nobody gets your carpet cleaner.
Again, I see a lot of wins.
I mean, you know, I'm getting two things for this, and the first one I wanted to go back a little on, is you talked about perception. Is Newcastle, and you go down here East Washington, you go down Mill Street, which transitions from Highland from Mercer, and it's a very well-traveled road. There's some very nice. The street signs are nice.
Yeah, sure.
Everything's very nice, but do people maybe see this area as the bad side of Newcastle?
Well, they shouldn't. I mean, I'm not sure what they would see that would be bad. Again,
okay.
If
Is there a crime issue?
There isn't. If
Okay.
residents would talk to Bobby Salem, the chief of police in Newcastle, or Josh Lamacusa, you're right. Josh Lamacusa, the district attorney, they would tell you. Both of them would tell you, because we've had these conversations with them as we started to work with downtown. How much crime do you actually see downtown?
Yeah.
It's not on their radar.
Okay.
I mean, the crime you read about in the news, that both those individuals are fighting or happening out in the neighborhoods. They're not happening downtown. Now, downtown does have its occasional panhandler, et cetera, but you will find them in all downtowns.
Yes.
Pittsburgh's downtown gets rated one of the tops in the United States. Well, good luck. You'll find a few of them there.
Yeah.
And again, they're just everywhere. And I don't think there's a big crime problem in Newcastle. Yeah. It's maybe an inconvenience dealing with somebody who might ask you, a question or two and that type of thing. But there really isn't. So that's my take on it. It's a perception thing. Yeah. It's not a reality thing.
I mean, when I remember, I was in high school my senior year when 9/11, the terrorist attacks happened. And I remember people were afraid to go out and shop. The day after the attacks, Bill Clinton started walking down in New York buying stuff. He was shopping. And the reason he did that, and what he said was, I want people to have confidence knowing that you'll be safe,
right.
And I don't want the country to feel unsafe. Now, So one of the maybe a solution to this would be, you know, do a lot of prominent individuals come down to Newcastle, like maybe more professional oriented people who, you know, maybe if say you were a mugger or something, you would target. I mean, these people who community leaders, do they spend enough time down in Newcastle, in downtown?
I would say, yeah, most of the community leaders are in downtown either on work or business on an average given day. Again, you have the county courthouse and all its leaders there. You have City Hall downtown. You have the Chamber of Commerce, the Economic Development Office, the Tourist Promotion. They're all down in the downtown area. We're just looking out.
Do they feel safe to walk down the street? And do they
to
do
my
it a
knowledge,
lot?
to my knowledge, they do. You have right over here. There's Info Decisions, which employs 300 or 400 people in the downtown area. They're located here. Treelor and Heisel has made a huge investment in downtown. They're at the corner of Mill and East Washington Street. I mean, they're a company that does nationwide work. I mean, they're, you know, they're not just based here. And they have their headquarters in downtown Newcastle. And they're going to expand in downtown. They're going to take a building over on Mercer Street and add another 25 to 30 employees. You have Chris Sonato. He's the congressman. His office, or excuse me, he's the state representative, sorry. But his office is downtown too. So, yeah, I would say in answer to your question, there are prominent folks downtown living, working. Go to one of the downtown restaurants for lunch on any given day. You'll see a county commissioner or one of the local businesses leaders. You might see the mayor. You might see people from City Hall there for lunch. So it's there, Matt. And the other thing I would add is a lot of people forget about this, and we kind of forget about it sometimes. The YMCA is still located downtown.
Okay.
The YMCA has 6,000 members.
Okay. So
on a daily basis, over 500 people come to the YMCA. I think that's testimonial there.
So, you know, is there any room maybe some of these people who are down here could maybe recruit some friends or maybe, you know, the community should feel welcome by these, you know, because we look at maybe the demographics of Newcastle, of Lawrence County as a whole. I think we saw there was like somewhere around 90,000 residents. It's kind of an older community, which is a problem will be a problem going forward. About maybe 3/4, we just say, is about 45 and older. But you know, and then you have income levels. You have some very well-off people in the Lawrence. It's like much of Western Pennsylvania. You have well-off, and then you have the poor, and maybe, and you go talk about the divisions and the cliques. Is there maybe a perception that downtown is just for a few people? Like, is it too expensive for the poor?
I would say not. First of all, you have a number of shops that are, you know, that they have first-line merchandise. You have a number of shops which are resale shops.
Okay.
So there's a diversity as far as I would say retailing in downtown. My challenge was, and I challenged groups over the holiday. I said, buy one Christmas gift downtown.
Okay.
If people would do that and think about downtown on a major gift-giving holiday, or maybe even a personal holiday like a birthday, they'd find a unique gift, something that they wouldn't find anywhere else. They'd find it was a safe place to shop, and they'd find that they would get to know the merchant who ran the place.
Okay.
So my thinking is downtown does offer it could offer more. It needs to offer more.
Okay.
And it's one of the things we're working on is get more people to come downtown, so more people will open shops downtown.
Okay.
Either in this market square idea that Barbara has, or even on their own. And I have to say, since in the last, probably 6-7 months, there are at least 5 new shops that have opened in the downtown area.
Okay.
And this center that we're sitting in, Washington Center, is entirely rented out.
Okay.
And it's the first time that it's been rented out since 2004, so that's been 10 years. And the new owner of Washington Center did it in a year. So this just happened within the last year.
Oh, okay.
So I think
there's been some real progress.
Yeah, so if you look at those type of things, and there are more people here who could shop at the store.
I've noticed a lot of banks and some law firms coming in around.
I think that's a good fit here, because actually I don't think retail is a great fit for this spot. I think the retail is better off in the small little shops. But retail needs people who are working close to downtown, and this
Yeah.
is a perfect fit for those type of businesses.
Okay. Well, obviously we have much more to discuss
Sure.
in this area here. Just real quick, we only have a couple minutes left. I'd like to, talk about, maybe, ways we can open more access. And one concern that was risen is parking. And so I understood that you have maybe some ideas for that.
A concept that I have, I know that parking is an issue. It's talked about a lot.
Yeah.
So real quick, because I know we have to wrap up. It is a concept that with the market, that is the only place that I can talk about. The parking is I do, Matt. Real quick, having researched and looked it over from north, south, east, and west, from all four directions, if looking up at Union Square, a center, that's we can have, if I go real quick, I-79 and Route 19 connects to 422.
Yes.
376 merges into 422. 76 Turnpike connects to 376 to 422.
Yes.
From 422 connects to 224, 224 West State Street, Union Plaza Square. We have all these ways, and looking at the map, coming in from every direction, people coming in from the outside, because in order to increase foot traffic, we have to kind of limit
so there's
the vehicle. And if you just let me finish up real quick, as the Market Square takes off, we can begin with one bus. The Market Square can have a bus. There's the potential, if the owners up at Union Square are willing to work with us, we can open up a parking level there and turn that entire area into a station square. And then we can bus people down into the city. It's just a few-minute ride.
So we could even do a shuttle or a loop service.
We can do a shuttle.
Which is very popular in Meadville, Pennsylvania.
It opens up an entire potential up at Union Square to even work with the area rather than pushing them out, really opening up that the town actually has the potential to increase its perimeter of downtown.
Okay. So it does sound like there, maybe parking isn't so much of an issue. So, we're going to have to leave it at that for now, but we'd like to continue this later on. Thank you for joining us at NCTV45. This is Focus on, this is Focus NC with guest moderator Matthew Geiger from the Washington Outsider. This is Barbara Grossman and Larry Corvi. Thank you for joining us.
It's winter, so come on inside, grab a cup of hot cocoa, and sit down and watch NCTV 45.